Two giant pandas in Sichuan have been selected as gifts to Hong Kong. A Hong Kong man is said to have died after feeling unwell while climbing Mount Fuji in Japan. And Russian missile attacks on the Ukrainian capital and other cities leave more than 40 dead. Hello and welcome to TVB News. Chief Executive John Lee announced today the National Forestry and Grassland Administration had selected two new giant pandas to be sent to Hong Kong. The central government is sending the two animals, aged between 5 and 8, as gifts marking the 27th anniversary of the founding of the Hong Kong SAR. Authorities hope to get the national treasures by the 1st of October. Timothy Lee has our top story.
More progress has been made concerning the newest pair of giant pandas that the central government is gifting Hong Kong. Chief Executive John Lee, who was invited to Sichuan province, said the National Forestry and Grassland Administration has selected two national treasures, one male and one female aged between 5 and 8, to be sent to the SAR. The CE noted the male panda weighs some 120 kilograms and is agile and intelligent, while the female panda, which weighs 100 kilograms, is gentle and friendly. Both pandas currently reside in a panda research center in Dujiangyan in Sichuan province. Preparation work for the animals' journey to Hong Kong is underway. They will undergo 30 days of quarantine before their arrival in the city. They will then be subject to another 30 days of quarantine. The chief executive stressed the two pandas were selected in accordance with the SAR government's wish for the animals to start a family in the city. But he emphasized the difficulty in getting the national treasures to mate, adding that mainland experts may need to be invited to offer advice and assistance. This, as veteran political commentator Lau Kai spoke of the significance of babies being born to the two pandas.
In Hong Kong, the baby panda, they will show that Hong Kong has a very high technological level. And because you very difficult to give birth to baby panda, this baby panda will serve as a mechanism to tie the emotional tie between mainland and Hong Kong even stronger.
The Hong Kong government also hopes that the animals will arrive in the city by October 1st. They will reside in their new home in Ocean Park. Representatives of the park are also in Sichuan holding discussions with mainland authorities. Meanwhile, Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism Kevin Yeung said bamboo grown in Guangdong Province and Ocean Park will be transported to Sichuan to allow the pair of pandas to get used to the food in a new environment. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
Octopus announced that it will permanently waive handling fees for merchants for the first $10,000 of transactions every month starting next month. Some 80% of merchant users are expected to benefit from the new policy. Each time merchants receive payment through Octopus, they need to pay 1.5% of the total transaction sum to the company as a handling fee. According to Octopus, 80% of merchants currently using the Octopus app have monthly transactions of less than $10,000. The new policy would mean most small companies will not have to pay a handling fee. The new policy has no time limit. According to Octopus, not counting the factor of consumption vouchers, the company's transaction volume increased 10% year on year. The company said it is not worried about competition from other electronic payment platforms. A male Chinese citizen died after he felt unwell while climbing Mount Fuji in Japan. Sources said he was a Hong Kong resident. Japanese media reported a 58-year-old man with Chinese citizenship and his wife were hiking along a trail to the mountain in Yamanashi Prefecture on Monday afternoon. The man started feeling unwell at around 8 p.m. and lost consciousness. He was brought to a first aid station by locals and was confirmed dead. It marks the first fatal incident on Mount Fuji since the mountain was open to the public this year. Local news reported the man was a Chinese civil servant. Authorities are still investigating the cause of death. Russian missiles blasted cities across Ukraine on Monday, damaging the country's largest children's hospital in Kyiv and other buildings. At least 41 people were killed. Ukraine responded with drone attacks on several Russian regions. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who was in Poland at the time on his way to the NATO summit in Washington, D.C., said he hoped the summit would provide more air defense systems for his country. Zelensky also said only world powers such as China, the U.S., or the whole EU, not Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, could mediate between Russia and Ukraine to end the 28-month war. Tracy Furness reports.
People clearing rubble from the damaged children's hospital in Kyiv after a Russian missile strike. Volunteers carry babies to safety away from the evacuated hospital, now in ruins. Worried parents hold their babies in a basement during an air raid alarm. This mother said, "We heard the first explosion. It was not far. We reacted quickly. My daughter started screaming. I ran into the ward. We were told to go down to the basement." Damage on the streets was extensive. Smoke seen rising from the hospital in the distance. The daytime Russian barrage targeted 5 Ukrainian cities with more than 40 different types of missiles, hitting apartment blocks and public infrastructure. Strikes killed 10 people and injured 47 in Kryvyi Rih, Zelensky's birthplace in central Ukraine. Ukraine counter-attacked, launching drones overnight in several Russian regions. Russian officials said 1 person was killed while 2 power substations and an oil depot caught fire. The United Nations condemned Russia's latest assault on Ukraine.
The Secretary General strongly condemns today's missile attack by the Russian Federation, hitting residential and civilian infrastructure across Ukraine, including in the cities of Kyiv, Kryvyi Rih, Dnipro, and Pokrovsk. The strike reportedly killed dozens of civilians, including children, and injured over 150 more. The incidents in which missiles hit the Okhmadit National Children's Specialized Hospital in Kyiv, which is the largest pediatric facility in Ukraine, and another medical facility in Kyiv, are particularly shocking.
Russia denied that it had conducted strikes on civilian targets. The Kremlin said it was Ukrainian anti-missile fire that hit the children's hospital in Kyiv. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Both U.S. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden have said the president will stay in the race for the White House. This as Parkinson's specialist has visited the White House multiple times. NBC reports.
The message from President Biden today, the debate over his debate is over.
I am not going anywhere.
The president says he has now assessed the country's mood after visiting voters across battleground states. Today, he phoned in to MSNBC's Morning Joe.
I wanted to make sure I was right, that the average voter out there still wanted Joe Biden. And I'm confident they do.
The First Lady amplifying his message in 3 states.
For all the talk out there about this race, Joe has made it clear that he's all in.
And to Democrats on Capitol Hill, the president sent more than 1,200 words to get on board. Any weakening of resolve only helps Trump and hurts us. 9 Democrats in Congress have now called on Mr. Biden to drop out, including Adam Smith.
I think he should step aside. I think it's become clear that he's not the best person to carry the Democratic message.
Tonight, new questions surround why a Parkinson's specialist has visited the White House 8 times in 8 months, according to visitor logs. One visit indicated a meeting with the president's doctor. Questioning during today's briefing grew tense.
Has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No, he's not. Is he taking medication for Parkinson's? No.
NBC News has reached out to the specialist, who has not responded. The White House would not discuss why he visited, citing security and noting the medical unit also cares for military staff here. But regarding the president, the press secretary said definitively he has only been checked by a neurologist during his formal annual exam.
He has seen a neurologist 3 times. 3 times, not more than that. Not more than that.
While Mr. Biden is under increased scrutiny, he noted that former President Trump has been laying low.
He hasn't done a damn thing since the debate. He's been riding around in a golf cart for 10 days.
Tonight, ahead of next week's Republican convention, unveiling the party platform, which mirrors Mr. Trump's positions on immigration and reproductive rights. Notably, it does not call for a federal ban on abortions.
NATO leaders are gathering in Washington, D.C. today to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the military alliance, which has never been larger and more focused. There are 4 topics that will likely dominate their discussions. First, Ukraine's membership into the alliance, which was put forward in 2008. It has been in a state of limbo since. Second, Western states providing military aid to Kiev since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. But recent shipments have faced significant delays as a result of opposing countries within the EU and some members of the U.S. Congress. Third, China and the Indo-Pacific globalizing security. China's support for Russia during the war in Ukraine has greatly contributed to worsening relations with the West and drawn NATO further into the Indo-Pacific region. And lastly, the 75th anniversary summit is meant as a celebration of NATO's capacity to endure, so it wants to project unity. On the subject of President Biden, White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby reassured allies of Biden's ability to lead.
I think the question presupposes the notion that they need to be reassured of American leadership and President Biden's commitment, and I don't believe that's the case. We're not picking up any signs of that from our allies at all, quite the contrary. The conversations that we're having with them in advance, they're excited about this summit, they're excited about the possibilities and the things that we're going to be doing together, specifically to help Ukraine.
Still ahead, locally, the launch of the Chinese Kung Fu and Dance Carnival. China and Belarus started joint military exercises on Monday, holding drills just a few kilometers from the border of NATO member Poland, kicking off on the eve of the alliance's summit. The maneuvers, codenamed Falcon Assault, will go on until July 19th. They're taking place at a training ground near the city of Brest, which is on the border with Poland. As part of anti-terrorist exercises, military personnel of both countries will work out issues of night landing, overcoming water barriers, and conducting operations in a populated area. Meanwhile, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi held talks with the Foreign Minister of Belarus, Maxim Ryzhenkov, in Beijing on Monday. The country's heads of state met in Kazakhstan a few days ago, where they made new arrangements for bilateral relations and cooperation in various fields. Belarus also joined the Shanghai Cooperation Organization last week. Another of the government's mega events was launched today. This time it was the Chinese Kung Fu and Dance Carnival at the Chimsachoi Promenade. It will gather together 3,000 martial arts and dance artists locally and from overseas to perform for the public over a 6-day period. Mimo Singhai reports.
This is a performance of Kung Fu in the Baihe style, or the style of the White Crane. And these primary and secondary school students showcased some martial arts moves. The opening ceremony of the Chinese Kung Fu and Dance Carnival was attended by government officials this morning, including the Deputy Chief Secretary for Administration, Chek Wing-heng. Chief Executive John Lee delivered a congratulatory message for the opening of the event via video link. As a government mega event and a program of the Hong Kong Pop Cultural Festival, the carnival hopes to present the essence of martial arts and dance to aspects of Chinese culture. The carnival will last for 6 days. visitors can enjoy multiple performances related to Chinese dance, music, poetry, and martial arts for free.
Thank you. Residents can obtain a stamp card when they visit the carnival. Those who collect 4 stamps can enjoy a souvenir of their choice. Numbers 9, TVB News.
That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.